Well, congratulations, folks. You finally made it. So have I. Let's be honest, 2020 has been a year that most of us want to go ahead and forget. A lot of people have passed. A lot of people have been shut in. And a lot of people don't know exactly what to do. But this being my last wine review of the year, I think it's appropriate to go ahead and discuss what I think has been the finest Washington State wine of the year. This is somebody who I found back in 2019. It's somebody who I visited this year in June of 2020. And to be honest with you, their name says it all. It's Spanish for Circle of Friends. Let's get on with this review. Tuned into the Rookie Wine and Whiskey Enthusiast channel, YouTube's primary channel for discussing Pacific Northwest wines and spirits, but not exclusively. And as I said, this year's wine, 2020 Washington wine, for me personally, is Tertulia Cellars 2016 100% Carmenere. But before we jump into the review, I would like to go ahead and thank those of you who have subscribed for sticking with me. If you like this content, please go ahead and hit the thumbs up button. And when you do, make sure you share this video as well. That way, more and more people get a chance to hopefully enjoy Washington State wines and spirits. And if you are one of those lucky ones that have been able to watch this video review and you like this content, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button, and when you do, a little bell icon is going to go ahead and pop up. Make sure you select all, not personalized but all. That way when I do upload content like this, you will be notified. So let's go ahead and jump in. Tertulia Cellars was started in 2005. I've got their information right here. They started building their site in Walla Walla in 2017. It was completed, or 2007, completed in 2008. And right off the bat, I did not know this, they started making waves right away. Not only because their winery and their tasting room in Walla Walla produces such great wines, but it was one of the first wineries to really take on the sustainable aspect of being a craft winery, a smaller type of winery that takes it seriously, how they affect the land and things like that. So anyways, back in 2019, my wife and I were staying at the Hampton Inn. I think it was the Hampton Inn in Walla Walla, or it was, anyways, it might have been the La Quinta. And this is where my wife and I were first introduced to Tertulia. We met one of the individuals. She came by to do a wine tasting or to stock up on wine. And her name, there it is right there, Christine Bono. And let me tell you, you will not find a more warm, bubbly personality. She's their general manager there in Walla Walla. And well, I'll get into that in a little bit here in just a little bit. Now, the head winemaker, his name is Ryan Raber. The vineyard manager is Ryan Driver. And again, the general manager to the tasting room out there in Walla Walla is Christine Bono. Anyways, in 2019, my wife and I were first introduced to this in a hotel wine lobby. We immediately said, hey, we like this wine. Let's go ahead and go out and taste their wine. We went out to their winery, was very impressed with the settings. Matter of fact, we were out there with friends. This is fall release of 2019, so over a year ago. And they were having their Carmenere festival or celebration. And I accidentally got to talking with the head winemaker. I got introduced. I got invited downstairs, and I was sitting there geeking out. Me and my friend were both geeking out on the wine. We were tasting wine out of the fermentation vats. And all of a sudden, my wife and his wife were upstairs going, "Where the hell's our husbands?" So fast forward another year. My wife, of course, with coronavirus, my wife does have a chance to go down to Cannon Beach. And instead of being here alone by myself at the house, I went ahead to Walla Walla for a couple days. And my first stop on the day that I got down there was Tertulia Cellars. And Christine remembered me. And if you know anything about the wine industry here, it's all about personal relationships and the friends that you make and meet. And I literally got a chance last year. And as a matter of fact, I had actually taken video, but this is when I was starting to have audio problems with my old microphone on my new Canon M50. And they allowed me to do some video down there, and I was so impressed with this particular wine that I made a determination I was going to do a wine review there. I took a whole bunch of audio. The video was great. The audio went downhill. It was awful. Like, it was non-usable. So that being said, we now move fast forward to fall release 2020. Huge restrictions are in place. We've got friends who've brought friends this year. And as we're down there for fall release, reservations are required. And I call up Tertulia because the last two places that we went to, they were only for reservations or club members only. And I called up and Christine answers the phone. She recognizes my voice and she's like, "Oh, I've got a spot for you. We can get you in on a reservation. How fast can you be here?" Because I was, quote, the tour guide, I was using somebody else's car, and he says, "I got a turbo, I'll be there in 5 minutes." We got there, and thankfully, they found a case of this wine that was left. My wife and I and our friends purchased the last case of this 2016 Carmenere. So with that backstory now, let's go ahead and jump right into this. This, by the way, this review will be a little bit longer, and thank you for listening, because I think the stories with wines really do matter. So that being said, I've had this in my glass now for at least 15 minutes. This is a wine that needs to be decanted or aerated, preferably decanted. I opened it up, I let it sit. This thing is spectacular. Where did my color chart go? Here it is right here. The color on this wine is an absolutely dark, deep octopus ink purple. Very, very little light is coming through this, if at all. On the nose, it is a medium intensity on the nose, but in that nose you are getting deep, rich, black plum, black cherry. Now, there's a note specifically with Carmenere that I get, and to be honest with you, it's a note that turns me off, not because I dislike it, it's because my mom made me eat it growing up, and I hated green bell peppers. Carmenere has a very strong note of green bell peppers, but this one is not offensive to me. This one actually comes across as a mild bell pepper note, almost a jalapeno note. There's also an earthiness to this wine on the nose. It's a little bit of clay mixed with some light pipe tobacco. There's a wood note as well. It's a hint of cedar or madrone. And there's a little bit of vanilla. Oh, this wine on the nose alone is very complex. You could literally, this is one of these bottles that if you opened it up, poured yourself a glass, put a piece of paper over the glass, just let it sit, it could literally take you an hour to dive into the nose and the taste of this. But let's go ahead into the taste of this. This is almost a bold wine. I'm not talking full body, I'm talking bold body. It literally grabs a hold of your palate and says, I am here. The tannins on this, medium to medium plus, more along the medium plus line. The acidity, there's a nice little tartness to this that I'm finding on the mid palate. It's almost like plum vinegar, kind of like without the vinegar. It's got the vinegar tartness, the plum vinegar tartness, but not the flavor. And on the back end, the finish, it's that earthiness, it's that clay, it's a little bit of that wood. The vanilla though does kind of go away. It's almost non-existent. If you let it sit on in your palate a little bit, you'll definitely get it, but it's not as you don't get it as much in your palate as much as you do on the nose. And this is savory. This is making my mouth water. The finish on this is, I would say, a long finish. I'm still having all of those beautiful flavors sitting on my palate, still playing well together. Let's go ahead and have another sip. Yeah, this is such an amazing wine. It really, when I first had it back in 2019, it made the hair on my arm stand on end. It's doing that again. I love a good single varietal, what the varietal can express. Last year it was a Syrah, this year it's a Carmenere. This wine, to be honest with you, yes, it's sold out. If you go to one, they have two wine tasting rooms. One is up in Woodinville. The other, their main one, is of course in Walla Walla. They are sold out of this. But my understanding is that in the spring, they are releasing their 2017 Estate Carmenere. I'm telling you folks, if you get a chance, you have to try this. Their Carmenere, they're known for it. They really do know how to express this grape. They know how to show this grape. And on top of that, the people there are amazing. Like I said, I spent time in 2019 talking to the head winemaker. He's a great guy. Christine Bono, the general manager, she makes everybody feel welcome and warm. It's just one of those experiences where you go, wow, I'm glad I'm here. So anyways, folks, this is my last wine review. I do have a something planned for the new year. I'm probably going to shoot it this week, but I don't know how I'm going to do it. I've got a craft whiskey shootout that were all single barrels, barrel picks. One Woodinville, one Indiana, that's not MGP, and two Kentucky craft distilleries. So, anyways, folks, as always, life is too short for either bad wine or bad whiskey. Go ahead and grab yourself a bottle of wine. You know, it's 2020 is only a couple more days left. 2021 is right around the corner. It's got to be a sight better than the last year. And remember, on January 1st, folks, 2020 will actually be, hindsight is 2020. Cheers. Here is Washington State's 2020 Wine of the Year. Tertulia, outstanding.